is named Spotifaves and can be found at spotifaves.github.io. Once you log on to the application, you'll see on the top a navigation bar in which you can use the different links to access the different sections of our page. On the top part features a carousel of 3 images featuring Spotify's themes and icons, and you can allow for it to automatically advance or click through it yourself. The next section is the About Our Project section. It features a picture of us as well as the tech stack we use and information about our project and what we attempted to do with it. The next section is the login page. After logging in with your Spotify email and password, it shows the top 10 songs that you have listened to over the past couple of years, including the album art, the title, the artist, and duration. The next section is the Contact Us section. Please use the email address in LinkedIn if you want to contact us. Thank you for visiting our page, and you can find us on GitHub.
Hello, my name is Mekedes Dejenie.
My name is Jasmine, and I am a junior at Boston College, studying management with concentrations in information systems and business analytics, and a minor in sociology. I hope to pursue a career in technology consulting.
So the problem was, how do we get the users' top 10 most listened to songs? How do we obtain that data from Spotify in a secure way? And the solution was to use the OAuth flow. The OAuth flow is basically an authentication framework. So it allows a client like a Spotifaves to gain access to the user's data. The way it works is we send over a redirect URI to Spotify so that Spotify can use that redirect URI to send us a access token. And we can use that access token as a key to get into the user's data. And then we also send over a scope. The scope is the kind of information we want to look at, the kind of data that we want to obtain from the user. So that's what we send over, those 2 things. And eventually Spotify will send us, like as I said, that access token, and then we can get into the user's data. Not all their data, only the data we specified, data that we requested from that scope we sent over. So which is the top 10 most listened to songs. So then now we can access that. So the top 10 most listened to songs. So that's how the OAuth flow worked, and that's the approach we went with to solve the problem of trying to get the user's top 10 most listened to songs.
I'm going to focus on the technologies we use to review and upload our code, as well as how we use different technologies for backend development. To upload and share code, we learn how to use Git, including how to add files to be committed, how to check the status of what we added, as well as learning how to use branches in Git. After learning how to use branches in Git, we learn how to review each other's code so that we can put a pull request, and after that, checking for the code before it got merged onto the master branch. At the end of learning how to use the basic Git commands, we also utilize Git pages in order to run our application on a web page. On the back end, we learn how to use Spotify API for developers. We learn how to read through it and extract the information that we needed, especially in order to find the top songs and information about the top songs for a user. In order to access top songs that a user had, we had to learn the process of OAuth, which we learned was the process of a user logging in with their username and password, and for us not seeing the password, but receiving a token that allowed us to access their information that we further used in our webpage. Another technology that we used on the back end was handlebars. We used handlebars because it was efficient in order to receive information, since the information we received from each song was the same. So after putting a loop through the handlebars, we were able to easily receive all the top songs and provide the same output information for each of them.
Today I'm going to be talking about the tech stack needed for our project. So now I'm going to be talking about the design of our web page. So for the design, we just use Bootstrap. We use a Bootstrap template, and then just filled in that template with our HTML and CSS. Yeah. So now I'm going to go on to JS Fiddle. So we use JS Fiddle, which is an online IDE. We use that so we don't have to worry about downloading any dependencies on a PC, worry about that. So we ran our code on an online IDE, and it made it easy for us to just worry about the functionality of our code. So we just worried about that to make sure that our login flow was working the right way, and we were getting the top 10 most listened to songs. And JS Fiddle is nice because it could sync your CSS, HTML, and JavaScript code. And yeah, so that's why we use JS Fiddle. So we use that. And then we also use Slack to communicate with each other. We send each other code snippets, especially to our mentor. We send over that so he can give us useful feedback. And Slack is nice because those code snippets are very clear, and they give us a great way to just share code, especially since we're long distance and my partner is in New York, so it's hard to always Google Meet because of time conflicts, and and sending code over through email or text is not that nice. It's kind of hard, so Slack was a great way to do that because, as I said, you can send over these nice code snippets through Slack. And last but not least, I'm going to be talking about the Kanban board, the Trello Kanban board. We use that for project management. It was a nice way to meet deadlines and make sure that we're making good progress and working efficiently. So we use that, and basically it has 4 categories. One is not started, in progress, in review, and then done. So like, when you're trying to tackle a complex project, when you're trying to get a big project like ours done, you can't really keep track of all the different parts that it consists of. So always keeping track of those parts in category, especially in like different categories, is very nice.
There are 3 main lessons that I learned from working on this project. The first main lesson that I learned was how to work remotely on a team with members from across the country. Being in different time zones, it was really important to communicate clearly expectations that I had, as well as meeting times with specifics. One thing that I learned about this was the importance of really being detail-oriented and for sure communicating what I thought and listening to what others thought. A second lesson that I learned was how to work on projects, specifically coding projects outside of the classroom. Previously, I've only done projects inside the classroom, and with that, there was a very specific set of answers or solutions that was being looked for. With this project, although there was a proposed solution in mind, I learned that there were many different ways to come to this conclusion and to never be set on one specific solution, but explore all the possibilities. Working on this project also taught me that there are so many outside resources, and it's important to do research so that I can find these resources and continue to further what I'm learning. Instead of just focusing specifically on the situation, there were a lot of different technologies that I learned along the way that I also hope to implement in the future. After completing this project, there are 2 main big steps that can be done to further this project. The first one is the use of Firebase or a similar user management system, so that once the user logs in, all their information from previous times are already saved, and the webpage can be personalized for each user. The second next big step after this project could be allowing users to specify the number of songs they want and the course of time that they want their most popular songs for. Currently, we have the number of songs set to the 10 most popular songs and the duration that we're looking at for the past few years, but we would like the option for users to be able to choose if they want 5 songs or 3 songs, for example, and if they want the duration to be the past couple years, past couple months, or just the most recent month.
Thank you for listening to our presentation. Please feel free to use the email addresses in LinkedIn to contact us.